Give me what I want. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I'm saying? That is basically the responsibility of WWE, is to give us fans what we want. But are they going to do that? Of course not. Why would they do that? We've sat here now, we've analyzed this garbage product for months on end, and I am proud to say that tonight's episode of Raw was a fat, giant nothing burger. There was nothing to speak about inside of this Raw. This may be one of the quickest reviews in the history of my Raw and SmackDown reviews, because quite literally nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. Now, me personally, right, this was expected at this point, but the fact that Raw continues to do this, simultaneously working in unison with SmackDown, which continues to also be garbage week after week. SmackDown, listen, this is the crazy thing you need to realize, right? As bad as Raw is, which is like a consistent 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 max, SmackDown is like a consistent 2 or 3 out of 10 max, bro. And that is the current state of your two main shows, Raw and SmackDown, that used to consist of John Cena versus Jeff Hardy on like a random episode of Raw, or Shawn Michaels versus Cena on a random episode of Raw, right? Or a Triple H and a Rey Mysterio, an Edge versus a Taker. You know what I'm saying? Kane versus Chris Jericho, right? Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. Just on random episodes of Raw or SmackDown, this was a given match card, right? But somehow now we get a bunch of boring segments in Penta versus Pete Dunn, right? Or Pete Dumb, as he might start getting called by your boy, right? And then you also have these other matches that no one cares about that we've seen a billion times, like Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. How do we go from having Cena versus Hardy on Raw and having like AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella to now getting Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez and freaking Pete Dunne and Penta, right? And somehow this episode of Raw is being considered, stacked by most fans. There was a tweet I saw where they were like, oh, this episode of Raw is going to be stacked. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, get out of here with this garbage. We used to have elite matches week to week, and now we're getting Penta versus Pete Dunne, and people are saying it's stacked. This is a nothing burger episode. Let's jump into the review. First off, we have Sami Zayn and KO. This is an absolute waste of time. Kevin Owens doesn't even show up, first of all, so that's ridiculous. And of course, injuries don't matter now. Before, it was, Sami Zayn is suffering from nerve damage, and he has a spinal problem, and this and that, and then he's back in literally 1.5 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Are you out of your mind? Is he injured or is he not? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, clearly this is done so that we can get they can get their match in their hometown, of Canada. Because at 2023 Elimination Chamber, there wasn't a situation where they could wrestle each other in Canada, right? Kevin Owens wasn't even on the card. But it's just like, dude, come on. Why are we wasting so much time with this stuff? Nobody wants to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens part 50. There's nothing to speak about here. Sami Zayn comes out, he's like, I think that me and Kevin Owens are inseparable. You can't tell the story about one of us without the other. It's like, dude, just shut up, man. Shut up. And then Sami talks, and while he's doing that, Adam Pearce comes out. Adam Pearce basically comes out and says, you know what, Sami, I can't sanction this because you're not cleared and this and this and that. Sami Zayn is someone who apparently has nerve damage. He apparently has a massive spinal injury. He's walking out there completely fine. He's going to wrestle next weekend. Where are the injuries? Kevin Owens was thrown through a ladder, right, on the back of his neck, dang near broke his head open. I know he did cut his head open, and somehow, someway, he was back in literally like 2 days, and now Sami's back in 2 weeks. And then Cody took the package pile driver and came back in like a week and a half. What is the logic here? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's absolutely egregious how every move is hyped up. The package pile driver ends lives, it ends careers, and then they're there next week. So who cares? And basically the moral of the story is we're going to get an unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. I don't care about this. Will the match be good in-ring quality-wise? I'm sure it should at least be very solid. I mean, KO and Sami are good in the ring, don't get me wrong. But the fact that it's these two competitors doing the same thing they've been doing for years at this point, it's getting redundant. It's extremely redundant now, and I could care less what happens with this. Now, also another thing as well, let me say this real quick. Where was Kevin Owens tonight? What was stopping him from showing up tonight? He showed up a couple weeks ago to break this dude's neck in half, allegedly. Why in the world can he not show up tonight? I'm watching an Adam Pearce and Sami Zayn promo. Are you kidding me? Right? We used to get Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, and then The Rock would interrupt. But somehow now we're getting Sami Zayn and Adam Pearce. Are you serious? Just notice the precipitous drop-off. Anyways, then we get, the Judgment Day backstage segment. No one cares about this. We might as well just skip it. The moral of the story is that Dominic Mysterio wants a new member, but Finn says no to any new members, and that's pretty much it. Everyone in this shot is a jobber. Dominic Mysterio is the only one who has a chance to turn things around, and Finn Balor had a chance, but it's too late now, right? In my opinion, he should have left the Judgment Day a while ago, like months ago, pretty much after Bad Blood when he lost. He should have just left the Judgment Day and just gone on a break for a month and a half, right? Comes back randomly as Demon Finn Balor and announces that he's going to be basically trying to fight for actual championship gold. And then that's what causes him to go after someone like a Braun Breaker or someone like, even the world champion Gunther, right? That would have been interesting for Finn because it actually would have elevated him and it would have been something unique again, because we hadn't seen that in a while, and Finn Balor would actually be doing something new and exciting for his character. But no, he has to sit here and sit in the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day. The Judgment Day. Damien, you did this. Shut up. That's as simple as that. So the Judgment Day is basically dead. They've tried every single permutation of the Judgment Day. That's the crazy part about this. They had, first off, Dominic was a face. Then he turns on his father. He wrestles his father and loses. Then all of a sudden, Rey Mysterio moves on and wins the U.S. belt. Dominic Mysterio then turns, joins the Judgment Day, right? He's officially in the Judgment Day. Then he turns on Damian Priest. Then he turns on Rhea Ripley. And then Liv Morgan turns on Rhea Ripley. And then Liv Morgan is fighting with Rhea Ripley. And Dominic Mysterio is in the center of it. And now Liv Morgan lost to Rhea Ripley. And now Dominic Mysterio is in a weird spot where he has nothing to do. So they've tried every permutation of this story. Damian Priest left. People were joining in and out. JD McDonough was there. Now, unfortunately, he's out due to injury, right? But he's still not there. They added Carlito, who's now called Carly for some reason. He's just an absolute loser now and a jobber. Even though I like Carlito. Carlito's my boy, but come on, man. They've tried every permutation, and the story is stale, it's bland, and nobody cares about it. Raquel comes out to no pop. JD McDonough and Carlito usually come out to zero reaction. Carlito maybe a little bit, but no one else gets anything, So this is just done. Liv Morgan is absolutely a mid-card jobber solidified now, and it's as simple as that. Then we get AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. There's really nothing to speak of here. This match was pretty much run-of-the-mill. I mean, it's AJ Styles, who's great all time, and then it's Dominic Mysterio, who's a glorified rookie at this point. Like, he hasn't really had any great singles matches, at least as far as I'm concerned. He's had good moments in matches, but he's never strung together a genuine great match from start to finish that was more than like 10 to 15 minutes, in a meaningful scenario. So therefore he doesn't have it yet. AJ Styles ends up winning this match. It had a good little closing where AJ Styles flipped him up, looked like he was going to do a pop-up power bomb, but he flipped him downwards and put him in the Styles Clash and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker's basically sitting off in the distance behind AJ Styles trying to get ready for a spear. He jumps in and AJ dodges out of the way, and Dominic Mysterio ends up getting absolutely destroyed by Braun Breaker. Now after this happens, AJ Styles hits a Pele kick on Braun Breaker. Braun falls out of the ring, and this sets up a little stare down between those two, with Braun grabbing his Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker looks like an absolute orange, no offense, but the spray tan is getting ridiculous. It just is. You come out there looking like annoying orange, and for some odd reason, we're supposed to take this dude seriously. When is the last time we've seen Braun Breaker in a wrestling ring? Can someone please answer that in the comment sections below? Because I know it's been at least a month, right? We have not seen this dude since at latest, or at earliest, January. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the facts. So there you have that. You know what I mean? So Braun Breaker and AJ Styles, though, does seem like an interesting feud. Braun Breaker still has a ton of talent, and AJ Styles is still very good in the ring. So this could be a good feud. But again, we've sat here with these backstage segments in this lead-in for weeks, and we're just now getting a face-off outside near the ring. This is a waste of my time. There you have it. Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. Now, this match pretty much also has nothing to speak of, other than the fact that Dakota Kai now, I wouldn't say she's a bad wrestler because she has above average talent in the ring, but other than that, she carries nothing. She has absolutely nothing. She's not over with the crowd. She barely gets a reaction. And no, she doesn't get a reaction at all when she comes out, right? There's nothing special about her entrance theme music. I think it's kind of trash, actually. And on top of that, right, her in-ring work isn't anything to, die over, right? There's much better in-ring workers than her in the women's division. So I don't understand what makes her so, why do we need people oh, well, Dakota Kai deserves better. She deserves better. Well, here's the thing. Unfortunately, if you're Dakota Kai and you consistently are getting injured every single month or every other month, right? She tore her meniscus. Then I'm pretty sure she had some elbow or some back injury before that. And then now she had a concussion a month ago, right? And now all of a sudden in this match, she botched a move and literally stomped Ivy Nile's head into the mat. And the ref was literally holding Ivy Nile's arm, making sure she was okay and making sure she was actually aware of where she was at, because I'm pretty sure Ivy Nile is concussed because of this move. So Dakota Kai either goes out there and gets hurt, or she hurts somebody else by botching a move. So now it's just like, what is the point of this anymore? You also have the fact that most of her moves that are actually good, like that Hurricane Rana looking thing into a backbreaker. Like, that move is great, but it rarely ever gets executed greatly by her, and it's rarely ever sold properly. So now Dakota Kai is basically a nothing wrestler, a mid-card jobber, right? She has all the features of an undercard jobber, honestly, at this point. She has all the makings of one. And then after this, she wins the match, obviously, because Ivy Niles basically dang near concussed. And now we're going to have Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship again. Both of the women's mid-card belts mean nothing, and I predicted this on the time they arrived. I already said this stuff like months ago, right? It's the same thing with the U.S. Championship that it is now with the IC belt. The U.S. title is Chelsea Green versus Michin week after week after week after week after week for the same match for the same belt, you know? And now the IC belt is going to be Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria week after week after week after week, multiple rematches. That's all it's going to be. And then after she beats Dakota, 2 or 3 more times, then we'll get Ivy Nile versus Lyra Valkyria 2 or 3 times, and then we'll maybe get a Nikki Bella little cameo to give it a little pop for Mania time, and that's it. It'll be back to Ivy Nile and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, It's embarrassing how these mid-card championships have been handled, and it comes down to the fact that the booking is awful of the titles, obviously, but on top of that, you don't have any talent in your women's mid-card, and it's as simple as that. If you don't have the talent in the women's mid-card, you have to cycle through the same 2 or 3 people, and you have to get the same matches, and it's not going to work. It's not going to be entertaining long-term, and now we're realizing it. Next, we have Gunther's segment. Gunther's segment could have been a lot better than it was. The idea was great. Gunther coming out in the crowd and mimicking Jey Uso's entrance and potentially cutting a good promo, a really heelish promo, that would have been great. But instead, it starts off the first 10 seconds, you're like, wow, this is a good idea, and then it's executed horribly. Gunther walks out and proceeds to cut one of the most boring and forgettable promos of all time. And this is just the facts at this point. Gunther is a wrestler who says the same thing over and over again and who does not wrestle. His gimmick is inconsistent with what he's actually putting out in front of us. For example, Gunther says the mat is sacred and that he's going to destroy Jey Uso, and that he says tonight, he's like, I'm the best wrestler in this company right now, and no one can touch me in the ring. Nobody can handle me. I'm the best in the world. All that nonsense, right? Nobody can beat me. I'm the best in the ring and everything like that. But when is the last time that Gunther has wrestled? Just think about that for a second. I want you to think about that. Because the last time he's wrestled, at least from what I remember, was on January 25th at Saturday Night Main Event. So now, and he's not going to wrestle at all for the foreseeable future, at least not next week or the week after or the week after that. So it'll be at least 6 to 7 weeks before his next match. And before he wrestled at that Saturday Night Main Event, he had not wrestled since the Saturday Night Main Event on December 14th. So it took 6 weeks in between those matches, and now it's going to be another 6 to 7 weeks in between his next match, probably. And if he doesn't wrestle until Mania, it'll be about 10 weeks between matches for him. Are you kidding me? Is this really what we're doing now? Everyone tells you they're great. They're this, they're that, I'm the best in the world, I'm this, I'm that, and they don't show it at all. So now Gunther's character is inconsistent and it's not believable. And then you factor that in with the fact that he had a very awkward and weird cadence during this promo. It seemed like he was unsure of what to say, how to get the best reaction from what he was saying. And yeah, he got a reaction of cheap heat after he basically was saying, "You think Jey can beat me? I'm the best. Jey, I'm the best. Jey, I'm the ring general. I'm gonna beat you. I'm the ring general. I'm gonna beat you. I'm the ring general. I'm gonna beat you. I'm the ring general. I'm gonna beat you." Like, what are you doing? Are you making music? This dude comes out there and says the same stuff he always says. I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that, I'm gonna beat you. And then we get a generic brawl where Jey Uso somehow has to run from these security guards. And then after he does that, they brawl in the ring for about 1 or 2 minutes. And that's pretty much that. Jey Uso hits a dive on Gunther inside of the ring. They brawl for a second. Gunther retreats, and then Jey just stands there and yeets with the crowd. He's massively over, so that's that. Gunther just doesn't have it. And honestly, neither does Jey Uso. At least the biggest thing that we have in this match is the fact that at least one of them is incredibly over with the crowd to one side or the other. At least they have a face who's extremely over. Because if Jey Uso was not as over as he is right now, if he was any less over, this wouldn't work at all. It's already not working regardless, of course, right? But at least you have someone, to look forward to Jey potentially winning his first world championship. Because Gunther doesn't have it. He doesn't have the ability to go out there and elevate stories, promos, or feuds and elevate his opponent and his competition and actually invest you in these storylines. This is a Mania main event level match for this year, which is embarrassing to say that, but that's what it is. Your Royal Rumble winner is going to fight for the World Championship. This is a main event caliber match on this specific Mania card. And the fact that there's no hype, no intrigue, and no one's elevated anything in it so far is embarrassing. And then we get a backstage promo with Jey Uso, and Jey Uso's basically sitting there, and he basically is telling Kathy Kelly, literally word for word, this is what he says. They doubted me, Us. They doubted me, man. The superstars didn't believe I could do it. That's what Kathy Kelly says. She's like, there's many superstars don't believe you can get this done. Okay, well, where are those superstars? They're all in catering watching Jey Uso main event WrestleMania for the world title while they're sitting back saying, I don't think he can do it. Well, I don't think you can get in the ring. So how about that, you know? Anyways, Jey Uso basically says, why you doubt? They doubt me, Us. They doubt me, and I'm sitting here as your Royal Rumble winner, Us. They keep doubting me, and I'm going to prove them wrong at Mania again like I did at Royal Rumble, and I'm going to win that match. Us. Yeet. And that's it. Basically, you doubted me, Us. I'm going to win, Us. You doubted me, Us. I'm going to win, Us. Yeet. That's all he said. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? This is just embarrassing at this point. Yeah, he was intense, but he wasn't saying anything. It's kind of like Jacob Fatu. Then we have Pete Dunne versus Penta. I'm done with Pete Dunne. I think that he's an absolute jobber at this point, and we just saw this match like 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So there's nothing to really speak of here. You had a couple decent spots where he, what's his name, Penta did a similar move to Dakota Kai with like the Hurricane Rana backbreaker. He had a really nasty Mexican driver. That was a really solid move inside of that match, so that was cool. But other than that, this was just a jobber fiesta. Penta has an amazing entrance, which is good, very cool entrance. But again, I can't see Penta doing anything more than maybe being a U.S. champion. Like if he wins anything above the U.S. championship or a tag team championship, I would be genuinely shocked. You know, all he does is come out there and win matches versus jobbers, and then after he brawls with Pete Dunne and with Ludwig Kaiser, it's just a jobber fiesta. Like, what is there to speak of here? You brought Penta in and overhyped him. He's a manufactured star. He's not even a better luchador than Rey Mysterio in his 50s. Rey Mysterio's in his 50s, and the match he had with Logan Paul last week is probably better than anything that Penta has done since coming to WWE, besides his first match versus Chad Gable. That's it. And who doesn't have great matches with Chad Gable? Chad Gable's incredible in the ring. He's better than Penta is in the ring right now, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, at this point, Penta's one of the most overrated, people they brought in, like, literally ever. And it's as simple as that. Rey Mysterio in his 50s is better than this dude. Now we get Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez. This match was pretty mediocre and pretty bland and forgettable. And Roxanne Perez ended up winning, which we'll talk about how that happened in a second. But Roxanne Perez might be cooked. Everyone calls her the prodigy and says she's a legend and all this other nonsense stuff. And she's a legend in the making. A young superstar in the making. Like, dude, she doesn't have it, right? Yes, she's solid in the ring, very solid in the ring. You can make the argument she's good in the ring, right? But she's not elite or great in the ring. She's not an elite athlete in the ring. She's not an elite seller in the ring, and she's not good on the mic at all. She's actually bad on the mic in most of the promos that I've seen from her, I mean, and it's as simple as that. And then her entrance, right? They didn't even show her full entrance, at least on my broadcast. But I'm assuming that when from what I saw from when she was actually in the ring and her music was playing, she doesn't really get much of a reaction, And this is someone who was just feuding with Bayley over the last month or so, and she still isn't getting a reaction. If Bayley can't elevate you, the system can't elevate you because she's another manufactured star. And this may be another video I need to talk about, but WWE has too many manufactured stars now, man. It's as simple as that. Roxanne Perez, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, all these people are people who are just being told to you that they're great. They haven't shown you or done nearly anything to actually prove that, right? They may cut a good promo or have a good match here and there when they choose to wrestle, but they're not actually people who you genuinely are sitting back and think on your own merit, wow, this person could be a megastar. Wow, this person could be a superstar. Wow, this person should be a main eventer. They're a worthy main eventer. No one believes these things about any of the people that I've named, And so Roxanne Perez, yeah, in NXT she got over because everyone who gets a lot of screen time in NXT gets over. All you got to do is wrestle good matches and you move on. So I don't understand what's so impressive about this stuff. Before, right, in NXT, she's a big fish in a small pond. Now she's a little fish in a big pond. So we'll see how she finds her way, because at this moment, she's not getting any real reaction from the crowd. She didn't do anything really special in this match. Her finisher that she hit on Raquel, because Raquel got distracted by Bianca and Naomi, who are upset with Liv allegedly being the attackers of Jade Cargill, right? Which the Jade story is just dead. We'll talk about that in another video, of course. But anyways, they basically get distracted by Bianca and Naomi, and then while distracted, Raquel Rodriguez gets hit by the finisher from Roxanne Perez, the Pop Rocks, and then Roxanne gets the pin. I don't think Raquel understood that this was, Roxanne Perez's finisher, because all of a sudden she was just no-selling it and getting up immediately after the match. But, hey, it is what it is. Raquel Rodriguez is garbage in the ring, and it's as simple as that. She has potential to be better, but she isn't showing it, and she's not over with the crowd at all, and her theme song is horrible. So at the end of the day, the story here is that Roxanne Perez might be cooked on the main roster. I've pretty much seen what I needed to see, right? And at the end of the day, yeah, she's going to get some more months, and we'll see what she does over the next year or so on the main roster when she's getting onto it officially. But right now, I don't know what makes her special. Like, why would she be anything above like a woman's U.S. champion? Like, does anybody really know? She's not better than Chelsea Green, even though Chelsea Green's not even that good in my opinion, but she's not better than her. She's probably not better than Naomi. She ain't better than Liv Morgan. She's not better than Bianca Belair, Io Sky. She's not even better than Lyra Valkyria, because all they do is just wrestle, and Lyra's a better wrestler than she is. So I don't understand here. What's the process? But anyways, we'll talk about that at a later date and time. You know what I'm saying? Then we get Io Sky cut a video promo basically saying, I beat Rhea on NXT and I'm going to get the best of her. Obviously, Io Sky's going to lose this match to Rhea in a few weeks. And at the end of the day, Rhea Ripley delivers nothing as champion. Tonight, she didn't even show up to work. But again, why would she? When she does show up, it's just the same thing. Someone's getting beat up, and then this is my brutality. I'm going to take back my title that I never lost, yeah? And then she comes out there and then fights some random brawl and then just leaves. That's it. Or she goes out and cuts a bad promo like she did with Charlotte last week. This is just expected stuff at this point. We can't act surprised anymore when we know this is coming. So that's all this was, little video segment hyping up Rhea versus Io in 2 weeks. Then we have Karrion Kross, who at this point, I don't understand how he didn't get released along with AOP. It makes no sense. Karrion Kross comes out and cuts a mid-promo because his character sucks. All it is just, hey, you need to do this better. You need to do that better. Hey, Miz, win some gold. Hey, Sami, do this at Mania. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Seth Rollins, man, are you sure you're about this? Are you going to do this? You're going to do that? Sami Zayn has accomplished infinitely more than Karrion Kross has in their careers. Miz has accomplished infinitely more than Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross combined. So why is Karrion Kross, who lost to Uncle Howdy, right? The Wyatt Six beat up on the Final Testament multiple different times, right? At least in brawls, and I think they actually won a match as well. Or maybe they didn't. I don't think they did. I think the Wyatt Six lost to the Final Testament in their one match that they had. But either way, right, Karrion Kross lost to like the Pride. You know what I'm saying? This dude was getting jobbed out by Angelo Dawkins. How in the world is this dude telling The Miz and Sami Zayn what to do? At least Sami Zayn won championship gold at a Mania stage. What the heck has Karrion Kross done to be talking to these dudes like this? So I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I have no comment to talk about with Karrion Kross, and him and Scarlett should be they should unfortunately be released. They're just wasting our time, and they're wasting a roster spot that should be given to someone more deserving, in my personal opinion. Sorry to say that, but it is what it is. He's not adding anything, and he hasn't wrestled in months. So I don't even know. Can someone name me 3 great Karrion Kross matches? How about 3 great Karrion Kross promos in the last 2 years? Exactly. There you go. Now you have New Day. New Day basically comes out, and this is a waste of our time again. Kofi Kingston brings up how he beat up Rey Mysterio, and him and Xavier are just telling the truth. The same stuff they've been saying for weeks. We're telling the truth. We're the good guys. We haven't done anything wrong. How could you do this? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it just brings me back to the point that I always say. Triple H's booking is atrocious. It's built for long-term moments and big payoffs and all this stuff, but after, the moment itself, his climaxes of his stories are usually pretty good. They're pretty epic. Right? The New Day heel turn was built up to, a waste of time on that build-up, of course, but it led to a great moment with the heel turn with Big E and New Day in the ring. But after that happened, what has New Day done since? Triple H builds up to these big climaxes, but the payoffs down the line after the climax are horrendous. So what is there to speak of here? The New Day comes out and says the same thing. We're right. We're the heroes. We're the villain. Their theme song sucks now. The New Day Day. The New Day Way. The New Day Day. Dude, stop. Stop. How the heck do you have an amazing heel turn promo like that and you get sentenced to feuding with the LWO for 2 months? Are you kidding me? This is just egregious at this point. So I'm done with this. I don't really care about the New Day until they win gold or do something of meaning. But feuding with Dragon Lee and Joaquin Del Torres, or whatever the dude's name is not going to work. So there you have it. Then we had the main event, which was Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, part 15 billion. There's nothing to really speak of here. There's a couple good spots, but we all knew Seth Rollins was going to win this match, and everyone already knew that going into it. So there was really no reason of this match even existing in the first place. You might as well have just had Seth do a press conference like Cena and just announce, hey, I'm going to be in the chamber. That's all it was. Literally, we've seen this match a billion times. They've had better matches in this. Obviously, they had a better match at SummerSlam in 2023 and a better match at what's it called? Back in the 2016 SummerSlam SummerSlam as well, right? And then even the other ones they've had along the way, on random episodes of Raw. So there's no way that this is anything special at all. There's nothing to speak of here. And Seth Rollins is officially the 6th entrant in the Elimination Chamber. I'm probably going to be dropping a fantasy booking video this week, just discussing what I think should be the move for Mania going forward, because right now the Elimination Chamber PLE looks horrible. You're going to get a tag match with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jackson, Candice LeRae probably, and then you're going to get a match with the Elimination Chamber in the women's division, which again, all the possible winners in that match pretty much don't work. You know what I'm saying? At least as far as I'm concerned, right? If any of them win the belt, it's just not going to work. You're fighting Rhea Ripley in a feud. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that feud really going to be great? Is the match going to be great? Maybe, but I have to see that. We're going to talk about that women's chamber and why it's not appealing to me. And same thing kind of with the men's chamber, really. But the men's chamber has a little bit of excitement to it, so I'll give it that. And then you have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned match. Whatever. Like literally whatever. So at the end of the day, this episode of Raw was absolute and utter garbage. It was an absolute nothing burger where literally nothing happened. And it's as simple as that. It gets a 3 out of 10, and that's going to do it for me. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all so much for your support. I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and one love.